Mimi mwenyewe mwaka hii mwezi wa pili tukirudi bunge la Senate nitaleta motion ya kuchunguza zile pesa zinaenda kwa judiciary zinafanya kazi gani.
Wewe wacha tujenge kazi manyumba na sababu wewe hautapelekwa mahali.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think Kenyans should be very worried by the maneuvers by the Kenya Kwanza administration to control or to stifle the judiciary. I don't know what the Kenya Kwanza administration has in store for Kenyans. Because if you look at the way they are trying to muzzle the judiciary, they are trying to interfere with the independence of the judiciary, then it tells you that there is something very sinister that they are planning for Kenyans. Now, look at how this has developed from the time William Ruto came into office. William Ruto started by being friendly to the judiciary, whereby he appointed the 5 judges that had been rejected by the former regime, that is Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. Now that he has seen that the judiciary has not played ball, they have shifted to threatening the judiciary. But they have seen this has not worked as well, and they are now shifting to the third gear, which is going for the finances of the judiciary. These are just not mere allegations, but this has been confirmed by none other than a Kenya Kwanza legislator or senator, Cherargei.
Mimi mwenyewe mwaka hii mwezi wa pili tukirudi bunge la Senate nitaleta motion ya kuchunguza zile pesa zinaenda kwa judiciary zinafanya kazi gani, kwa sababu hatuwezi kuwa tunapea bilioni 23 na nimeona wanasiasa wengine wale hawana kazi. Unajua watu Azimio ni watu wanakaa tu, na Uhuru siku hizi wanakaa hawana agenda yote. Nimeona wakisema ati sisi tunapiga judiciary kwa sababu wamerule against. What I want to say ya kwamba judiciary lazima wafanye kazi yao. Hatusemi kwamba judiciary saa ile iko na mambo case by case. We want them to uphold the rule of law. We are not saying them kuwa, lakini ile judiciary tuko nayo wanafanya siasa. Kwa sababu mbona judge anasema msifanye public participation, na unajua kisheria public participation lazima ifanyike. Hii house levy fund sisi tulipitisha kama bunge, na Wakenya walituambia instead of being optional it must be a mandatory housing levy fund. All Kenyans agree. Mahakama ikasimamisha, na Wakenya zaidi ya milioni 4 tunapoongea hawana manyumba ya kuishi. And we are having judiciary that has gone rogue. While we respect the principle of independence of judiciary and principle of separation of powers, we always think as parliament that judiciary normally oversteps their mandate, because the work of judiciary is to interpret the law. The work of the executive is to implement, and the work of parliament is to legislate and lawmaking process. What we are seeing as a country is where there is what we call overreach and overstating of their mandates. I think judiciary must be called to order. I said last year that the current judiciary we have has gone rogue. While we appreciate that the rule of law and judicial independence should be respected, that one does not extend to judicial impunity and corruption. We are in a country now at the moment that Kenyans are saying, why hire a lawyer if you can pay a judge? And that is the we don't want to see.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, those are statements that should worry you as a Kenyan. And if you're not worried, then I don't know what you're thinking about, because those are statements that are not coming from ordinary Kenyans. Remember, those are senators elected by Kenyans. But due to the mere fact that they have this perception that they're in government, then they've decided to make such reckless statements. You know, in developed worlds or in developed democracies, legislators' work is to legislate laws that help in transforming the country. But whatever you've just had there cannot transform Kenya, but can take Kenya to a different route, or can make anarchy become the order of the day in Kenya. So let's look at what Cherargei has talked about, which is funding for the judiciary. You know, Kenya has come a very long way, or the judiciary has come a very long way. I think we've made several strides in the development of the infrastructure of the judiciary and employment of judicial staff. A lot of money has been used towards this. And when William Ruto came into office, he promised to be giving the judiciary an additional 3 billion shillings every year so that they can use this money to, one, develop the infrastructure of the judiciary and to employ staff, and also to motivate staff by remunerating them well. The effect of remunerating judicial staff well is felt when justice is delivered faster, and then the judicial officers are also contented such that they do not ask for bribes. So when the budget for the judiciary is affected, then it means services will be affected. And in return, who suffers? It's the Kenyans. How will you suffer? You will suffer by, one, court cases or any case that you'll have in a court of law will be delayed. And as it is said, justice delayed is justice denied. So that denial, or the effect of the cuts in the budget of the judiciary, will lead to backlog of cases in the judiciary, because it means they'll have to do away with some of their staff. And then secondly, the building of courts and expansion of infrastructure within the judiciary will also be affected. This in effect will also affect you as a common man. So the judiciary has been doing a lot of IT infrastructural development or expansion. Of late, you've seen guys attending court services virtually. This is a plus that we need to embrace. Said that a judge doesn't have to travel a very long distance so as to deliver like a ruling or to have a hearing of a case. This has helped so much in clearing the backlog of cases that have been in existence over years. So when Cherargei is talking about going for the budget of the judiciary, then Kenyans should be very worried. It's something that needs to be condemned, and the Kenya Kwanza administration needs to let the judiciary operate on its own. Judiciary enjoys independence, and that independence was fought for so many years by Kenyans. The fight for multi-party democracy, the fight for the judicial independence is something that has been fought for by so many Kenyans, so many political leaders over the years, that we can't let it degenerate at this time. So what William Ruto needs to do is to let the judiciary enjoy its independence. Now, this issue of the judiciary depending on the executive for its budget should also be dispensed with. This is something that should be pegged in the constitution so that the judiciary can work knowing at the back of their mind that they have a specific amount of money annually, that it is not dangled as a carrot, such that you're told that if you play ball, then we're going to give you money for your day-to-day operation. That dangling of the carrot by the executive is what compromises the judiciary or judicial officers. In as much as we are complaining about corruption within the judiciary, that corruption is brought about by lack of motivation by the judicial officers. If judicial officers are motivated, if they are well remunerated, then they'll not think of ways of making money through shortcuts. And if Cherargei and his clique make good of that threat of going for the judiciary budget and cutting it down, then it means we're going back to where we were almost 10 years ago, where you pay so as to get you file in the courts of law, in the corridors of justice. You know, we've come from a situation, like if you're young, you'll not understand, but there are years back when you'd literally pay so that your file could be availed to you. There were cases of file losses. But here is a case whereby we've developed and we continue to develop. You can access your files. I would wish to get to a situation whereby you can access your files remotely. You just go to the judiciary and then you don't have to someone doesn't have to go to a hall or a library to go and look for files. You can access them online. That will speed up the access to justice for Kenyans. So the gains that we've made so far can be eroded by such reckless remarks and such reckless intentions by senators like Cherargei. These are guys that should legislate, should come up with policies that will favor Kenyans, policies that will work towards the improvement of access to justice by Kenyans, but not making such derogatory statements. So if that is what the Kenya Kwanza administration is working on, then it's quite unfortunate for the country. I think Kenyans will not accept to go back to where we were 10 years ago. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are gains that we have made as a country that we need to protect and guard selfishly. One is the democracy that we enjoy, the freedom of speech. Secondly, is the access to justice. And just as I've said, justice delayed is justice denied. So we need to embrace, we need to enjoy and embrace the gains that has been made in the judiciary. I know we've not come to a point whereby would 100% say that we are successful, but gains have been made. So we need to build on those gains, the infrastructural development, motivation of judicial officers, employment of judges and magistrates, expansion of infrastructure, like doing new buildings, new courts, lower courts, and all that. Those are gains that we cannot let go and let Kenyans go back to where we were like 10 to 20 years ago. Whatever Cherargei is proposing there is very dangerous for the development of the judiciary and to access to justice by Kenyans and the common man. Remember, the backlog of cases in the judiciary, some of the cases that have a serious backlog are corruption-related cases, criminal and civil cases. So let's take, for example, corruption-related cases. You know, when corruption-related cases are not tackled within a very short time, it means that guys will have this comfort that whatever happens, it will take like 10 or so years for such a ruling to be made. So when someone swindles you, or when someone is involved in a corruption-related cases, and he knows very well that it will take years and years for justice to be delivered, then he'll feel so much comfortable. And when judicial officers gets to a point that we go back to where judicial officers were very corrupt, as they are alleging right now, then it means that corruption related money can be used to buy justice in the corridors of justice. So we need to guard against going back to where we were 10 years ago. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me today. If you have any feedback, you can comment on the video down below. And if you're new here, you can also hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified when we post a new video. Until next time, goodbye.